Okay, this is Unit 5, Lesson 2. Second semester, 7th grade math. Vocabulary review. What is a median? So in order for you to do number 2, 3, and 4, you have to know what a median is. What is a median? So, do you have a guess? Just take a guess. You might know what it is. Or you might know part of it. Dominic. No, it doesn't have to do with the plot. Taylor. No, not the average. That's something completely different. Talise.
It's the middle number when you order it from the.
Perfect. And actually, you nailed it. The earlier classes today just said middle number is what they gave. And I said, no, that's part of it. That's not correct. It's the middle number when you order it from least to greatest. And for my answer, I put quotes middle. And there's a reason why. If you notice, number 2 and 3 are pretty easy. Number 4 is a little different. That's why I put middle number in quotes. Some of you might remember how to deal with number 4. Some of you might not. But first, let's do number 2 and 3. So now that we've gone over the definition, if you forgot what median is, you should be able to do number 2 and 3 no problem. What is the median for number 2, Adepoju? 42. Do you guys agree? Mm-hmm. So here it is, from least to greatest. I've ordered the set from least to greatest. The middle number, 42, is the median. Got it? Okay. If we'd picked the middle number as the set was presented to us, we would have picked 51, and that would have been wrong. Okay? So the median is more than just the middle number. It's the middle number of the set arranged from least to greatest. Mr. Hartley speaking. I do. Sure, she's on her way. Bye. Logan. Miss H. Okay, so for number 3, again, what's similar between set number 2 and number 3? What's similar between those two sets? What's going on between those two sets? Kayla? There's an odd set of numbers. That means the middle number, when I arrange it from least to greatest, is the median number. There's a middle number, right? So you see for number 3, some students earlier today messed up because they tripped up over how to order some decimal numbers. Did anybody have an issue with that? We're good? Okay, so everyone understands why the median is 6 4/10, correct? Any questions about everything we've seen so far? Okay, now for number 4, how is number 4 different than number 2 and 3? Quinn? There's an even number here. So do we have a middle number here? No. So what do we do if we don't have a middle number? Joshua in the back. Very good. You have to make a middle number by taking the average of the two that would be in the middle of the set. So this is why I had that quotation mark around middle. So here it's ordered from least to greatest. You see 120 and 125. Those are the two in the middle. We don't have a middle value. So we're going to make a middle value by finding the average of these two. And whenever you find the average or the mean, those are synonyms, you add up the numbers you're finding the average of, and you divide it by how many numbers you added together, right? In this case, it's 2 numbers. So here I took 120 and 125. They gave me 245. I divide that by 2. That gave me 122 and 5/10. Question, Jayla?
I did the same thing, but if the two middle numbers say it was like 120 and 122, couldn't you just find a number that's like the in between both of them?
That's true, but you have to be careful because sometimes you're going to deal with decimal numbers and you can't always just... So taking an average is always going to get you an answer. You're not always going to have integer numbers where you can say, okay, this would be the average of those two numbers. So you're right. In your situation, you said, hey, my middle two numbers was 120 and 122. So the average would be 121. So it works out with what you said, but it's always going to work if you take those two numbers, add them together, divide by 2, you're finding the average. Okay? All right. Any questions? Now, here's what we're covering for today. I'm going to go ahead and read this to you guys since I'm putting this up on the class channel. What you'll learn: to represent and interpret data using stem and leaf plots. The new vocabulary: stem and leaf plot. Why learn this? You can use a stem and leaf plot to compare measurements such as the different heights of teammates. A stem and leaf plot is a graph that uses the digits of each number to show the data distribution. Each data value is broken into a stem, digit or digits on the left, and a leaf, digit or digits on the right. Okay, so in order for us to know how to read a stem and leaf plot, we need to know how to make one. If we know how to make a stem and leaf plot, then we'll know how to read one. So while we're going over stem and leaf plots, I do want to review some measures of central tendency: mode, median, range, those things. Do you guys remember those from first semester? I want to review some of that material with you. So let's take a look at this example. We're going to make a stem and leaf plot. Sports. The list gives the height in inches of each player on the San Antonio Spurs basketball team during a season. Make a stem and leaf plot of the data. So the first thing I would recommend you do, order it from least to greatest. Some of you might have another strategy, but I'm trying to give you a strategy to start out with. Once you have it arranged from least to greatest, it's easier to pick out what your stems are going to be. Okay, do you guys have it arranged from least to greatest? Okay, if you're almost there, continue working. I'm going to go ahead and reveal the set in order from least to greatest, and I color-coded it for a reason because I want you guys to understand how we make this stem and leaf plot. Now, before we continue, can somebody tell me what the range is? How do we calculate the range? Does anybody remember how to find the range? How do we find the range? Jayla? Okay, we subtract the maximum or the upper extreme, or actually given the maximum, we take away the minimum, okay, the lower extreme. So the maximum is what? 84, so we're going to take away, we're going to have 84, and then we're going to take away what? Minus 74. So what is the range going to be? The range is going to be 10. All right, so that's a little bit of review. Can somebody tell me what the mode is? Now, you have to be careful because I remember from first semester, a common mistake people were making was they thought mode meant repeats. That's not what it means. It doesn't mean numbers that repeat or values that repeat. The mode is something else. It's a little more than that. Who can define mode for me? Tell me what the mode is. Somebody, Nathan, can you tell me what the mode is?
The number that shows up the most.
Right, so mode is the number or the value that repeats the most often. Now, it's kind of like the one that happens the most, but can you have a tie for the most?
Yeah.
Right, so it's not always just one number. Got it? Can you have no numbers that repeat?
Yeah.
Okay, that means you have no mode. You don't put 0 for your mode because then you're saying 0 is the one that repeats the most. I've seen that as a trick question a lot, so don't mess up on that. So what is our mode for this set? Adipoju. 79. So I had some other numbers that repeated. What other numbers repeated? 82. But why is 82 not a mode? 79 repeated 3 times, and 82 only repeated twice. So 79 repeated the most. So it's not just because the number repeats that it's the mode, it's the ones that repeat the most. Got it? Okay, and you have a tie for the most, so there can be more than one mode. Okay, and what would the median be of the set? Who can tell me the median? Quinn? The median is going to be the middle number, which is also 79. That's my middle number. So I'll go ahead and use some marks just so we can figure out what the median is. And if you remember, I gave you this strategy before. So I have 5 over here, 5 over here. And I have 2 in the middle. And so what's the average of 79 plus 79? The average of 79 and 79 is just going to be 79. So if you want, we can take it. 79 plus 79. Well, if you're adding 79 twice, what's that going to be? What is it? 158 divided by 2. Well, that's just going to be 79. And that's what my median is. Oops. Okay, so now let's get back to what we were talking about earlier, which is how do we make a stem and leaf plot from that? Well, a stem and leaf plot, you should start out by having a title for it. What's the data representing? Then, if you notice, I color-coded this, and there's a reason why. My first stem is the 7 because we have a set of numbers in the 70 range, right? And the leaves are the numbers in the ones place. Got it? So my minimum is 74, and then it's 75, then it's 77, 78, 79, 79, and 79. Then we have a new stem for the 80s, right? Are we good? Okay. Don't forget, so 81, 82, 82, 83, and 84. Don't forget, a stem and leaf plot should have a key that explains the stem and leaves. Yep. That's to separate the stems from the leaves. That line. Okay. Any questions about that? Pretty easy. This is mostly review, yes.
Do you have to write out every number in the key?
Yep. No. You don't have to do every, you just have to have an example. The key is just an example to give you, to explain what the stem and leaf plot represent, what the stems are and what the leaves are. Yep.
The stem is always on the left and the leaf is always on the right?
For a single stem and leaf plot, yes. We did cover in the fall double stem and leaf plots, so I'm going to show you one here in a minute. But are we good here for this example? Now what I want you guys to do is make your own stem and leaf plot. We've gone over one. Now I want you to make one on your own. Now there is one trick with this one. So most students were able to figure out how to handle it. If you get stuck, just try to work around it, and we'll go over it here in a moment. Yes?
Does
class. Okay, who thinks they know what I was talking about earlier, about the special situation? Kalila. Right, so we just had a number that was a ones, right? How'd you deal with that? What'd you use for the stem? Nice, perfect. So I don't know if you guys heard what Kalila just said, but we have 9, so least to greatest. How do we deal with 9? Well, the stem, it's not going to be that there's no stem. In the tens place, it's 0. Okay? And then we have our remaining stems. Okay? How many of you guys got that? Okay, easy stuff. Is there any questions about the stem and leaf plot? Are we good? Joshua in the back.
So every time there's a stem and leaf plot, the stems have to be in order from least to greatest?
Yes, this is true. And the leaves are in order from the bar outwards. So they go from least to greatest outwards. Greatest would be furthest away from the stem. Got it? Jayla. The key would just be an example of one of these numbers. So a key would just be any of these. If you wanted to, I could take the maximum number, any number, and I could just say, okay, you want an example of a key? 3 and 4 is 34. Got it? It's just an example from the stem and leaf plot that gives you the number, the data value. Yes?
So for homework, we don't really have to use the range, mode, and median?
Now, we're trying to practice making these, but eventually we need to understand how to read the data from it. So if you look at this, is there a mode?
Yes.
What would the mode be? What do you think the mode is? Say it again. 25. Do you guys agree? Is it 25?
Yes.
Yep, 25 is the mode. What's the range? Can you tell me the range?
24.
You're saying 24. How'd you come with 24?
I subtracted 33 by 9.
You took 33 and you subtracted 9. Are you sure it should have been 33?
38.
Okay, very good. Because 38 is the what? Do you remember what we call 38?
The largest one?
It's not the largest. Use the right word with an M, or there's 2 ways we can say
Hi.
bye, go away. What do you need? Are you sent here?
Have you seen my charger?
Nope. Go. Bye. You're disrupting class. Okay, another way to say the largest number is the maximum value. So the maximum value is going to be 38.
Okay.
And we're going to take away the minimum value, which is what? 9. What's 38 take away 9? 29. That is my range. Okay? So let's just get some of the vocabulary in here. From the data, we see that my maximum equals 38. And my minimum equals 9. What would my median be? Can somebody tell me what my median would be? Quinn?
25.
You think it's 25? Let's check. Use the marks. Here, and here, and here. I got 3, I got 4 and 4. And then I have, in the middle, I have 25 and 20. And we know when we take the average of the same number, what's that going to be? It's just going to be 25, because 25 plus 25 is 50, divided by 2 is just 25, right?
You skipped 34.
Oh, I skipped one? Okay. Thank you. Let's see if I can fix this. Okay, 4. So it looks like we do have, it's an odd set, right? So we would just have numbers. So the median is going to be 25. Yeah, what's the question?
Will you be doing this with decimals as well?
Yes, you can. That's a good question. And they can be larger numbers than two-digit numbers. Okay, Josh, what's your question? Nope. I followed up on what you said yesterday. You weren't honest with me, so no. Let's go ahead. You can use a stem and leaf plot to compare two sets of data. From a stem, the leaves increase in value outward away from the stem. Okay? So we're talking about double stem and leaf plots. So let's take a look at this double stem and leaf plot. So we're going to analyze the data set we're going to analyze two data sets. So weather, use the stem and leaf plot below. How many times did each city receive 3 and 5/10 inches of precipitation a month? So I'm going to go ahead and reveal the double stem and leaf plot, and we're going to talk about this a little bit. Okay, it wants to know how often did it happen that they received 3 and 5/10 inch of precipitation. If you notice the key, do you guys see the key over here? This goes with the question that was just asked. Is it always going to be a whole number? No, you can have decimal numbers. So if you take a look at my key, right here on the right-hand side, 4, and then this 4 is the stem, the leaf is 1, and then the key says that's 4 and 1/10, right? On the left-hand side of my stem is a 3, so 4 and 3/10. So we have it's basically a back-to-back stem and leaf plot. Okay? So let's go ahead and let's answer some questions here. They want us to figure out which city had a higher median monthly precipitation. So first we got to figure out what is the median precipitation for Charlotte. So I'm going to go ahead and use my marks so we can figure out what the middle number is. So let's start out with Portland because we know how to read a stem and leaf plot that's faced to the right. Okay, so start with Portland, and then we'll go to Charlotte here in a second. All right, so I'm going to use my little marks to figure out what the middle number is. So 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 3, 4 and 4, 5 and 5. And then I have two numbers in the middle, right? If I count this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5 and 6 in the middle, but that's not what that number is it? What is the number that I just circled? I'm trying to find the median, right? What are the two numbers I found in the middle?
35.
Not 35. Look at my key. Look what my key says. It gives you an example. So, yes, 3 and 5/10. And then what's the other one? Plus 3 and 6/10. And now what do we have to do with the sum of these two numbers to find the median? We have to add them, but what else? Divide by 2. So we're finding the median. What's 3.5 plus 3.6 added together? 3 and 5/10 plus 3 and 6/10 is not going to be 4. It's going to be what? 7 and 1/10. Now we need to divide that by 2. What's 7 and 1/10 divided by 2? Work that out really quickly if you can't figure it out mentally. I heard it. Who said it? Nope. Think about money. If you had $7.10 and you split it into two equal piles, what would that be? No, 3.5 is half of 7. 3.5 is half of 7. We want 7.1. So what's that going to be? You're close. I just wanted to get your... Help her out?
35.5.
It's, nope. 355, 3.55, 3 and 55 hundredths. Okay, so half of 7 is 3.5, right? But then we have 0.1, and half of 0.1 is 0.05. Got it? So we're taking, that's why I said think about it like money, $7.10, right? What's half of $7? $3.50. And then half of 10 cents is 5 cents. So $3.50 plus the 5 cents, $3.55. Are we good? Okay. No, I like that you're using mental math. We got to get better at it. So we're trying to develop these tricks in our head. So now this one, Over here, we're going to use the same strategy. So this morning, students were messing up on this. What is the maximum value for the monthly precipitation of Charlotte? Let's see if you guys trip up. Kalila? What's the maximum value over here? No, you're right. It is 4.4. You know what the other classes said? They wanted to say 5. But why were they wrong? There's no lease here, right? If there is a 0 here, then you could have said 5. But there is no 0 there, so you couldn't say 5. So there is no stems, there's no leaves off of the stem 5 for Charlotte. So 4.4 is the maximum value. All right, now let's go back and figure out what is our median. So here, let's go ahead and do this again. So boom, boom. Oops. One, two, three, and that's 4, 5, and 5. And now I have these two in the middle. So what are these numbers here? We're trying to find the median over here. What are these? So what do we have to add together? What are the two numbers we're adding together? Henry in the back, I haven't heard from you yet. Go ahead. 3 and what? Say again. Right, so we're going to take 3 and 5/10. We're going to add 3 and 7/10, and we're going to divide that by 2. And so what's 3 and 5/10 plus 3 and 7/10 going to be? What is it? 7 and 2/10. And now we need to divide 7 and 2/10 by 2. What is that going to be? I heard it. Somebody said it. 3 and 6/10. So, what city had the highest median monthly precipitation? Charlotte. 3 and 6/10 is greater than 3 and 55/100. Okay, that was the answer. Okay, now we're almost done. Questions about this? What are your questions? Question. Do you understand how to read a single stem leaf? Okay. So all that's happening is they're taking 2 and they're taking 1 and flipping it. They're reflecting it the other direction. Does that make sense? So I can rewrite this and put these stems on this side, and that would be, I could have 2 written that way. So it's taking 2 and combining them into 1. And they're putting them back to back where their stems are back to back. Does that make sense? So watch this. I can rewrite it this way. Maybe this will help you out. I could rewrite this whole thing like this. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay? And for the first leaf, I had 7, and then I had 2, and then 4, and then 4 again. Do you see how it's just flipped that direction? Got it? Okay, so I could have 2 like that, but it's easier to see them back to back and compare them that way. Okay, yes?
I don't understand how finding the median is relevant to any of this.
It's one of the measures of centralist tendency, one of them, and it has to do with, like, where's my data concentrated at? Does that make sense? So right now we're just trying to figure out statistics goes into much higher mathematics. We're just trying to figure out what are some of the measures we can use at this point.
So do you need to do that, or is it just kind of help?
It's going to be one way to measure the data, okay? Because you have other ways. The mode, right? That's another way to measure it. Does it have a mode? Median, that's another. Average, right? Sometimes things are more useful than others. Do you remember the box whisker plots? No. Okay. If you don't remember it, we covered it in the first semester. But the box, sometimes it would shift closer to the maximum or the minimum, okay? And that told us something about where the data was kind of bunched up, okay? But right now, I'm just more interested in you guys knowing how to calculate these things. But now, let's move along. Application, U.S. presidential elections. The plot below shows the number of electoral votes for the president each state for the president each state plus the District of Columbia has. Okay? So each state, how many are there? How many states are there? 50. Plus the District of Columbia gets 1. So how many data points should we have? 51. Shh. Hello. We're almost done. Now, here's what we need to do. Let's try to knock out some of the easier ones. If you take a look at my stem and leaf plot, here's the key below. Let's try to answer. It says, which statement best supported by the stem and leaf plot? Let's try to figure out the easy one, which is the mode. They're saying right here the mode is 8. Let's see, what is the mode? Take a look at this data. What is the mode? Savannah, can you tell me what the mode is? Do you remember what the definition of mode is? What's that? Okay, can you tell me what the mode would be from the stem and leaf plot? What do you think it is? Can somebody help her out, remind her what the definition of the mode is? Moyen, can you help her out? What's the definition of the mode?
The number that appears the most.
Okay, there's your hint. What number appears the most? 3. Do you guys agree that 3 is the mode? Is there another one that appears as much as 3, if not more? No. So the mode is 3. So, is that correct? This is incorrect, because the mode is 3. Now the range, they're saying the range is 55. Do you guys remember how to calculate the range? Who can walk me through finding the range using this stem leaf plot? Jameson, how do we figure out the range here? Walk me through how to figure out the range. How do we figure out the range? Do you remember? Can I get somebody to remind you? Who could remind him how to calculate the range? Logan?
Isn't it when you take the highest number and the lowest number?
You find the difference of the two. So you're going to take the largest number and subtract the lowest number. What's the largest number in my set?
9.
What is that?
Oh, 5.
But this is the stem, that's the leaf. 5 is the stem that goes with the largest number. What is the largest number? Where do you see 9?
That's not
The highest?
No, this would be 0, 9. This would be 1, 0, or 1, 11. Do you remember how to read a stem and leaf plot?
10, 11, 12, 13.
So this is the largest. This is 55. Shh, please be quiet. So the stem is the tens place. The stem is the tens place in this case. The leaf would be the ones place. So that's 55. That's the maximum value. And now we need to subtract the minimum value. Now this is in order from least to greatest. So what would the minimum value be? 0. That's the stem, but what's the leaf? Right. And so 0 is the tens place, 3 is the ones place. So we wouldn't say 0, 3 would just say 3. So if we have our maximum and we subtract our minimum, what's the range going to be? 52. Now, this is saying the range is 55. Is that true? No. So that's not an answer we're going to use. Okay. So let's check out median. Now, the median, we already know that there are how many data points? 51. So let's go ahead and figure out the median. So actually, if there's 51, that means on each side of the median, I've got how many? 25, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Now on the other side, I should have 25 also. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. And look at what is smack in the middle, because we have an odd set. It's 8. So is our median 8? It is. Now, I'm not going to worry about you guys calculating the mean, but how do we calculate the mean? Nathan, how do we calculate the mean? Yes, we're going to add all the numbers and then what? Right, so the mean, the sum of data divided by 51 because there's 51 data values. Okay, last slide. And that's what we just did earlier. Last slide. In a stem and leaf plot, what is the difference between a stem and a leaf? Savannah. Okay, and I like that you're pointing. So which side is the stem on? What side is that? The left side. And what side is my leaf? My leaf's on the right side. And that's what the book gave. Very good. So just so we are clear about it. Now, moving along, we're going to use this stem and leaf plot to answer these questions. So here's my stem and leaf plot. First question, number sense. What does the number 6 represent when it's in the stem? So they're talking about the 6 in the stem. What's that represent? It represents the 6D or the tens place. Okay? Okay, and then what about the 6 on the leaf side? 6 or the ones place. Okay? Now, how many data values are there in the set? How many data values do we have in the set? Karis, how many data values in the set? I see some people pointing like they have it. Jameson, if you answer it correctly, yes. Can you help her out? It is 12. There are 12 values. 43, 46, 47. 51, 52, 61, 67, 71, 78, 82, 86, 88. That is 12 values. Shh, we're almost done. Please stop talking. Hello. I want to finish up this lesson. What is the least value in the set? The least value. Yes, Jeremy.
43.
Very good. The least value is 43. And Jeremy, can you tell me what the greatest value is?
88.
The greatest value is 88. Very good. Now, the last problem for you guys to complete. So here's the stem and leaf plot, but shh, let's read this. Copy and complete the graph with new data items 60 and 72. So basically what they're saying is, you know what, whoever made this stem and leaf plot, they forgot 2 numbers. Fix it so that you have the correct stem and leaf plot. Fix it so you have the correct stem and leaf plot. Then you can roll out once you fix it. Show it to me. Nice, you got it. Go ahead. Okay, here's the reveal. Shh. Check your work with what I have. That's the answer.